Welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. I'd like to say I'm sharing a commercial, but this is actually the double raspberry again. Yeah, I've had it once before on one of the videos, but it is what it is. So we've got a lot of moving of beer tonight. I've got the Irish Extra Stout. We've got a Bavarian Wheat, which is a Hefeweizen from Mangrove Jacks. I've also got the two Trappist singles. Don't forget, go ahead, like, subscribe. If you love beer, smash that red button. I definitely appreciate it and definitely appreciate the support. I'm gonna kind of jump into this a little quick, but I'm also going to announce I'm going to Brewfather now. So I'm gonna start using Brewfather as my primary. I'll still use Beersmith on the back end, but Brewfather, so that way I can just leave you a link. You can pull up the recipes that way. I don't have to type out the whole recipe. You can convert it to grams, kilograms, or pounds by when you import that recipe into your Brewfather, which I believe you get some free ones, certain amount of recipes without having to pay. So, but I am a subscriber to it. And just before I start jumping into that, if you've seen this, if you're an IT person, you probably get it. If not, I'm sorry, you probably don't. But there are 10 types of, or there's 10 types of people in the world. Those who understand binary and those who don't. It's an old shirt, doesn't quite fit anymore. I think it's been dried too many times, but it kept the light out, so we're all good. But the problem we have, and I always say we have a problem, it's not really a problem unless you want it to be a problem, but I was shooting for 6.4% ABV on this bad boy. And the original gravity was a little high, so our efficiencies were considerably higher than I expected on a dark beer. And then of course, I learned one thing, that I knew there's some bugs in Beersmith that drive me nuts. And that's why I kind of went to Brewfather, but now I'm also finding Brewfather, I won't say has bugs, but has some of the same readings, not the bugs, the readings. So when I type in 1.065 and then I type in 1.008, yes, because both programs thought my final gravity would be 1.013. So I'm 5 points below what both programs thought it was going to be. Well, when I put it in the ABV, they both give me the same amount of calories and all that, which is funny, but Brewfather thinks this is going to be 7.5% ABV. Beersmith says 7.6. I could care less, but it's nice to know the ballpark. So that's our little issue there, is we've exceeded a full point as far as in the ABV category. If you've seen this rodeo before, you can kind of jump ahead. Otherwise, I'll speed up part of it where it gets loud, noisy, and boring. But all we do, and it's a kind of a closed system, I use a transfer pump. I run hot to warm water. I already did a bunch of Star Sand and cleaned everything. And if you're one of those people who use this transfer pump, whether it's for the speed carb or whatever you're using it for, these little screws, every now and then take them off. Be very careful. There's a little tiny spring in here that will jump out immediately, and clean it. And I run a lot of cleaner through it, so it's probably sanitized, but it started making some noise, and I went in and I found I had a little bit of residue in there, and it was kind of bothering me to even know that it was there, and wondering how long it had been there, since I've done a few transfers since the last time. So, and then of course I had to figure out where my spring had vanished to, and I've got that taken care of, put it all back together. Things are doing good, but at the same time, like I said, you know, if you haven't taken yours apart and cleaned it, you might want to, just, you know, just saying. Okay, we're gonna go ahead. I've already purged this keg. This is the only keg that matters if you haven't seen this before. If you have and forgot, then you'll know. Okay, let's see if I can actually screw this little bolt on. There we go. Nice pair of pliers. What we do essentially is, all we're going to do is move water, which is in here, over to here, and as we see the stout going through, we'll stop, we'll move it up here, and we'll begin transferring it to our keg. And as it's pushing out the CO2, it'll just keep going out of here, and most of the time the beer starts to come up. For some reason we're over the 5 gallons of the keg. It should move that little ball up, but if you've seen a few of my videos, sometimes, like I think one of the last videos I did a transfer, I got sprayed. So might be for your entertainment purposes. I don't smell roast, but I do smell almost like a hint of dark, kind of a chocolate, which is good. That's what we want. There we go. All that nice roasted chocolatey goodness. Yeah, we had something to hold this up last time, and I don't see. Oh, here we go. My new little tool chest. Been putting all the tiny little O-rings and replacement parts in, which works really, really well, and it was cheap. I think I got off eBay for like, or not eBay, I'm sorry, Amazon for maybe like $15, $17, somewhere around that neighborhood. Okay, I'm gonna speed things up. Here we go. Definitely got to purge. I grabbed a tiny bit of air twice, which really irritates me. Hate when I do that, but it's very hard to see how deep you are in a stout. I love to tell you I put gelatin in here for clarification, but no. If you're ever dumping a friend who's new at this, you know, you should tell them, hey, you put gelatin in there, right, to clarify that? And be like, why would I do that? You're like, oh, you should do that for a stout. Mess with them. Have fun. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and purge this with some CO2 before I shake it around a little bit. And then I'll get it carbonated, get it cold crashed, do a taste test, and rock on. I know it'll happen seconds from now, but for me, it'll be 3, 4, or 5 days from now. Okay, I like to make a nice bed of onions, which I'll set this on top of. Okay, I'm not sure if you're fat side up or fat side down. I'm fat side up. Get a little packet of pickling spice. Put that in there, you don't have to. Yeah, I'm gonna add a whole nother tablespoon. That way it comes out amazing. Okay, not sure if you remember the red rye, Irish red rye with toasted caraway seeds, but there's about 10 ounces, maybe a little less than 10 ounces. I'm gonna dump that in there. Okay, then we're gonna bring water right up to the very edge, and then we'll let that cook for a little while, in about 2 hours. And then at the last half hour, I'll have the potatoes. Last 15 minutes, I'll throw the cabbage in. Here we go. Roll it over a little bit. I don't know if it's really necessary, but now I'm gonna dump my potatoes, my carrots in. I like the carrots kind of rough. I like the potatoes with the skin too, so it's not a matter of lazy. It's just I will eat every skinned French fry and every skinned potato I can get before I'll actually eat the regular potatoes. I really like the skin on them. Okay, it's a tight fit, but I'm good. I'm gonna cover it, throw it in there for another 10 minutes, and everything should be good. Maybe 15 minutes. And there we go. Corned beef and cabbage with some potatoes and carrots. Looking freaking amazing. Needed some horseradish, but didn't think about it, but it's all good. I know you just saw us transfer the Irish Extra Stout, and you know, we had that problem where we pitched the yeast and didn't quite do what it was supposed to do. Instead of being a British dry, it was a British sweet. We had to pitch my famous Irish yeast, which is Whitelabs' famous Irish yeast. But yeah, I love that yeast. It's crazy dry when it comes to a stout. And with the 1.065 and a 1.009, instead of hitting in the high sixes, like 6.5 was our original goal, and we went to 6.9, or it's 7.4. So you can see where an original gravity being much higher than you expected and an FG being much lower than expected, which one of my other issues with Brewfather and with Beersmith, they both seem to be overly conservative on that final gravity. Here it is, and had a great head retention. It looked great, but it has settled down a little bit. I've had a tiny, tiny sip before it was carbonated, so this will be my first sip carbonated. Wow. I was thinking I didn't want too much roast. I could have gone much heavier with the roast, but that is insanely drinkable at 7.4. My son hates dark beers, but that is a great dark beer. So I'm ready for St. Patrick's Day. Sadly, we already blew through the Irish rye, red rye, whatever you want to call it, with toasted caraway seeds. That was so good. I mean, we blew through that and hardly hit any other kegs. We just wiped it out. But I'm gonna be drinking this, and I got my corned beef, I got my cabbage, I like red potatoes, and I like the skin on, same with the carrots, and oh, it's awesome. I saw somebody recommend horseradish, and I probably should have got some, but I'm okay with it. I've never had it with horseradish, so I'll eat it this way, and I'll eat the leftovers and make a Reuben. I'm all good, but I'm excited. My oldest is coming over. We're gonna sit down and have a nice family dinner. Thank you again. I'll make sure to leave the link to Brewfather for this, so that way you can just pull it up and see the whole recipe. It'll make life a little easier. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, keep sharing. I definitely appreciate the channel's growing very rapidly. I'm trying to keep up and provide the best quality content as possible. Thank you again for joining us here at Bitter Reality Brewing. And I'm good.